This is Dedric Polite with Be Polite Properties. I'm a real estate investor and entrepreneur. And I'm here with some exciting news. I have one of our partners from Deal Machine, Matt
Mhm.
Kamp, here today. And we're here to actually take a sneak peek at one of the new features that Deal Machine is rolling out actually this week.
Mhm.
So we're very close partners with Deal Machine. It's actually our number one most effective way of finding off-market wholesale deals. My wife and I have been able to build a massive real estate portfolio and really been able to become financially free, largely due to driving for dollars and using Deal Machine. So I'm
Love it.
excited to bring this to you guys today and for Matt to talk about this new feature, a few new features that they have that are really going to make the process of driving for dollars even easier, even more simpler to execute. So Matt, welcome.
Yeah, thanks again for having me on, Dedric. I mean, you guys are one of the first people we thought of like, hey, we're always trying to align ourselves with world class coaches and teachers, and people who are really looking to help educate people. So, I'm excited to get this in front of your people to be able to help them even have more value out of this too. And really, there's kind of our dashboard has been revamped to really focus on goal setting and really be more numbers driven, because in the end, like, it is a numbers game around lead generation and how that translates to your next deal. So, I'll show that off briefly. And then our planned route mode is brand new. That's where, like, that's coming directly out of, the development shop, the development lab over here is like, we're finishing the final touches and having that go live this week. So it's kind of a sneak peek where you'll actually, go into our test flight mode and see it before it's even live, and I'll be able to kind of walk through what that looks like too, and kind of get you guys excited about what's to come.
Cool, cool. So what Matt's going to do, everyone, is he's going to pull up his screen on his cell phone. He's
Yep.
actually going to show us a live demo of the new plan route feature. And while Matt's pulling that up, I want to talk about, one of the reason that this is even needed, right? As you guys know, my wife and I, we always talk about driving for dollars. We drive for dollars everywhere we go. Why? Because every single house in your neighborhood or your farm area that you're targeting is a potential payday. You have to look at it like that. So getting to that habit of driving for dollars every day. The problem is that most people don't even know where to start driving for dollars. We get the question all the time is, where do I go? What type of neighborhood do I focus on? Where do I even start? So with this new plan route feature that Matt's about to show us, let's do the route planning feature first, Matt, and we can do the dashboard after that. He's actually going to show you foolproof, simple way of Deal Machine's actually going to tell you what houses to drive by first. So
Yep.
Matt, with that, kind of set up the scene on the, why you guys created this feature and walk us through how the route planning works.
For sure. Yeah, we're really really excited about this because we've had the route tracking for a little bit now, where if you're, like you said, Dedric, if you're using the app to drive for dollars and start driving around your neighborhood, like, you'll see a little green line follow you around for that, and it's really showing you where you've driven, so you can know what areas you've hit before, where you need to go, how to think ahead about where you want to go next. So we've had this route tracking feature for a little bit. The route planning feature is really, how do you project forwards? How do you really focus on saving yourself as much time as possible while getting to every single property on your list, and be able to save yourself the headache of trying to drive around and say, oh, there's a property over here I want to see, and a property over here, and a property over here. Like, this will be able to import the GPS right into your app, so that way you can actually go in here. And let's start with this. Let's say, okay, I'm going to start driving. You'll be able to hit, free drive mode is our classic, like, driving for dollars, open up the app and start driving around and start looking yourself. That's
So
great.
this is like randomly driving around trying to find distressed properties, right?
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this planned route mode now is how you can actually be extremely strategic about this. So going in here, you get to actually either use an existing list. So, say if you have already built a list within Deal Machine, you can actually go to that here and say, hey, show me every single property on this particular list and how to get to every single property as quickly and efficiently as possible. If you're already creating lists in Deal Machine, or you've got this create plan feature. So this is where you go in here and you can either hit zip code, your whole city, or custom draw an area. Let me hit my zip code in St. Louis here. And when you hit that, you'll when you type that in, you'll automatically see seller motivations pop up. And
Mm,
that's to make it so that way you can go in here and say, hey, show me every absentee owned property, which this one has over 500. There's quite a few around here. So, you'll see that pop up. And if it has over 500 properties, it'll automatically say, hey, get a more narrow criteria, just because driving 500 properties in one fell swoop is would take you days probably. So you're not going to do that.
all right,
So,
hold on. Let's pause right here, Matt. So we've done plan route, right? You're telling Deal Machine, hey, use the computer and technology. Tell me what properties I need to drive by, right? And then now we're at step number 2, select the motivation. So you can choose from
yep.
vacant properties, absentee owners, behind on taxes, foreclosures. So what I would recommend is we always talk about motivating factors, right? What's a factor that would make someone sell their house at a discount? The house sitting vacant, no one's living there, right? Maybe there's vandalism going on, there's deferred maintenance going on. That is a motivating factor. So if you wanted to know, hey, in my zip code, where are all the vacant properties? You can literally pull up Deal Machine and it's going to take you on a route around your whole zip code and every vacant property.
Yep.
Guys, this is gold. It's going to save you so much time, right? Because when we first started, we were driving around with a pen and paper and going down random side streets hoping to find a vacant property. Now, we lucked up and we were very successful doing this, but I mean, this allows you to be a sniper with it. Like you can be very precise on what you're going after.
Yeah, and that's why we think, like, from an ROI perspective, the driving for dollars just strategy in general, like you're validating with your own eyes if this is a good lead or not. You can use these motivators, you can use these highlights to kind of guide you around and give you a really specific route to take. But when you're driving around and validating like this is a distressed property or not, that's going to be a list that no one else can pull, and that you yourself are creating, and it's going to be extremely less competitive. Every marketing dollar you spend trying to reach those owners is going to go way further than if somebody just pulled a big general list and started reaching out to people. So,
Absolutely. Hey,
so
Matt, let's pause right there.
yeah,
So I want to give people some nuggets on what I'm going to do. As soon as you guys drop
good.
this feature in my
Yep,
app, I'm going
yep,
to pull this up and I'm going to go after those vacant properties, right?
love it.
That's the list I'm going to go after first. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, show me all the vacant properties in this particular neighborhood, right? The neighborhood that's my farm area that I
Mm-hmm.
focus on intensely on wholesaling and buying rental properties. And when I get in front of the house, I'm not just going to add it to Deal Machine. I'm going to sit in front of the house, pull over, grab a cup of coffee, snap a picture, and I'm also going to skip trace that person right on the spot using Deal Machine. I'm going to
Yep.
get their phone number. I'm going to call them when I'm sitting right in front of the house. If I get an answer, I'm going to ask if they're interested in selling the home. If they're not, that's fine. If they are, great. We'll start a conversation in the sales process. And if I don't get an answer, I'm going to send them a text message. Hey, my name is Dedric, Be Polite Properties, just seeing if you're interested in an offer on your house. Boom. Then I'll go to the next one. Guys, again, that doesn't take more than 60 seconds to do that.
Mhm.
Now you're on to the next property. You've cold called them, you've sent them a text. Now you got a Deal Machine postcard going out, 3 forms of marketing, going after the seller, and now you're on to the next one. Powerful.
Love it. Yeah. And let me see. This will be a a real time demonstration, but I'll try to see if I can trigger the start driving here.
Yeah,
So
let's
there
see how
should
it
be
looks in real time.
we're in the there we go. Cool. So if you go to map, this is where you're going to find this. When you start driving, it's going to automatically come up with planned route mode as an option.
You click
Create
plan
that.
route, create a plan,
Yep.
put in your zip code or your city, or you
Yep.
can draw an area.
Put in vacant for what you're going to be using it for, and then let's see. Try one more time. Eh. Well, to kind of explain that.
That's all right. We'll edit that part out.
Yeah, that's all right. Oh, here we go. Here we
There it
go.
goes.
So finally got that thing to activate. So
Your first highlighted property is 0.10 miles away. Leave
there you
from
go.
Gerda Avenue.
So you'll see, very similar to GPS like you're used to, which instead of having to jump back and forth between the Deal Machine app and your GPS,
Turn right onto Mackland Avenue, then turn left.
this is going to eliminate all of that. And you can actually go in and skip properties as well. So you can say, hey, done with this property, let's go to the next
Your
one.
next
So,
turn right onto
Wow.
Mackland Avenue, then turn left.
So that'll be really, really simple and straightforward, very similar to any kind of regular GPS functionality that you would be used to. But
So guys, what this is going to do, again, it's going to cut
mhm.
down the time that you spend driving for dollars by magnitudes, right? Because again, what we're used to doing is driving around kind of aimlessly and hoping we stumble upon a distressed or boarded up, rundown property. Again, this is going to take you right to those properties. So now you can just laser focus on that property. Again, you don't want to just send them a postcard. You definitely want to do that first, but also call them and text them.
Yeah, and that's really like anything we build with Deal Machine. Our goal here is to help you get the best ROI possible, and that means ROI on your dollars. So like being able to help you send great mailers, follow up with people well, stay top of mind, land that next deal. But then also ROI when it comes to your time and saving you as much time as possible and help you make the most efficient route as possible using data, using automation like this, using our technology to tell you like, hey, go here, then go here, then go here, and help you take the quickest route possible to that next deal. So
Wow, this is
um,
going to be a game changer. Can you show us the draw area? Show us how that
yeah,
part works.
so draw area right here. You can literally start drawing, and press on the map. Here, give me 1 second here. Zoom out a little bit.
So you click on the start drawing and you just draw like a circle.
Yeah, you can actually do that. That's actually one feature that we are currently working the last bugs out. So you're literally seeing, real-time user testing.
Okay. So this is
So,
again, this is being released in a few days. So again,
yeah,
that's still being
this is sneak
tested.
peek here. Yeah, this
But
is the development lab right now, user testing. So
but for
yeah,
example, if I wanted to focus on Princeton Heights, once
yep,
it's live, I'll be able to put a circle around that neighborhood and I can find all those vacant properties or absentee,
exactly.
whatever the list motivating factor is in that neighborhood.
Yep, exactly. So you'll be able to mess around with this where you can physically draw the area. You can pick an entire city or pick an entire zip code. So
Wow, it's
yeah,
powerful. Powerful.
awesome.
Okay, great. The other thing I want to talk about, guys, is vacancies was what I would focus on first. Next, I would focus on absentee owners,
Yep.
right? Why absentee, right? They don't live there, so there's a higher likelihood they want to sell, right? When someone lives in a property, it's their owner occupied home. They have more of an emotional attachment. When they don't live there, chances are, if it's not vacant, they have a tenant in there. We all know, right? We're still in the midst of this pandemic. A lot of renters and tenants aren't paying, right? They've been laid off, income has dropped. So a lot of landlords are hurting. Those are those absentee owners. So again, a great one to go after. We actually target out of state absentee owners, right? They don't live in the property, they're probably renting it out, and they live in another state. What that means is even more motivating factor right there, right? Because they live out of state. So what if they have a repair, a roof leak, the toilet? They're out of state. It's even harder to get someone to take care of that. So again, when
Mhm.
you get that person, you get a hold of them, you put a postcard in front of them, there's a much higher likelihood they may be motivated to sell to an investor like yourself.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And really like just wanted to briefly show the dashboard in addition to the driving planned route mode. A lot
Yeah.
of times, like you said, when you're targeting these different people, like really in general, no matter what you're doing when you're thinking of the right list to get in front of or starting to drive for dollars or any of that, it really starts here. Like it starts on your goal setting. And we want to make it as easy as possible for you guys to be able to be very metrics driven and focused on KPIs, key performance indicators, and focus on really breaking it down, every deal down to starting with how many leads do I need to get in the system, how many touch points do I need to have with each of those leads, and then what is that going to translate to in terms of our actual ROI, return on your dollar. So I think why we created this new dashboard budget setting, goal setting feature is to do just that, to come in and say like, hey, per month, here's how much I want to gross top line, here's how much gross profit I want to bring in before expenses or anything. To hit that, here's what my net profit per deal is going to look like. So how much I want to net per deal to get to that top line gross number. um, and then based on those metrics that you're setting, you'll see towards the bottom it'll automatically spit out and say, hey, when people use Deal Machine, when people drive for dollars, on average, and this could be high, this could be low for your market, but on average we see people putting in about 300 leads to hit a property, to hit a contract, to hit an actual signed deal. So if you tell us how many, how much top line per deal you want and how much net profit it takes, or top line profit per month you want and net line profit per deal you make, then we can come out here and say, all right, based on that magic 300 number, here's how, for leads, here's how many leads you need to put in a month to get to those numbers. So, we're trying to help you set goals on how much you need to be driving, how many leads you need to be generating, how many people you need to market to, and what's that's going to translate to for your actual ROI from all that.
Love it, guys. So again, what Deal Machine is doing here is they're putting the metrics that you need to be tracking in front of you, right? Anybody can luck up and close a wholesale deal, right, and make 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand. But
Mhm.
to create a business, something that's sustainable and closing deals months after month after month, you have to have systems in place. You have to track, all right, your marketing, right? Your dollars, what each marketing dollar you're spending is returning back to you. So this is doing it for you. If you put in your goals of how much you want to make, how many drivers you have, it's going to spit out how much your expenses are going to be and how much your profit's going to be. So absolutely love this.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what, the 300 number, 300 leads per deal is just a data driven number that we've seen across the board. It's pretty conservative too, of like how, I'm not sure what you guys, if you've tracked that, knowing how many, leads you have to put in Deal Machine to close a deal.
Yeah, we've
Okay.
seen pretty close to that. Anywhere from 2 to
Cool.
300 properties entered in Deal Machine usually lands
There you
us
go.
a deal.
Perfect. So we use that as kind of our baseline metric. We've also been really conservative of saying about 12 properties per hour, which it's one every 5 minutes to be able to market to. We have partners that have gotten up to like 60 an hour. So, you might be much further north of that, but at the very least, this will help you set the right expectations of saying, okay, this is about an hour per week of drive time for two drivers. If you have one and somebody else with you, putting in 12 properties per hour, to be able to achieve these goals. So we try to spit back those numbers to say, hey, here's how many leads you need to get to. Here's how many hours it's probably going to take for you to get that many leads. And if you do this and you market to them properly, here's some general profit goals they aim for. So
Love it. Love it. Well, Matt, I appreciate you letting us be the exclusive um, person to introduce this new feature. This is really going to be a game changer. And again, it's something that everybody can do. Anyone can drive for dollars. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. And 5 years ago, we didn't have this technology, but now you do. You have technology at your fingertips where you can target motivated sellers, get some marketing in front of them, get them to call you back, lock up the property, and close the deal and make money. So
yeah,
we appreciate it. If you guys are using Deal Machine, this is going to take you to the next level. If you're not using Deal Machine, you can go to getdealmachine.com. That's GET, getdealmachine.com, and sign up for a free trial. And you actually get 30 deal credits, which is basically 30 postcards for free using that website. So anything
Mhm.
else you want to end with?
Yeah, I was going to say, if anybody's, if you're looking to sign up, definitely go through that to get the free trial and to get, the deal credits to help you start taking action. But yeah, of course, Dedric, thanks again for having me on. Like it's been, I appreciate everyone bearing with us as we're kind of showing you the behind the scenes of what it's like to, how the sausage is made for all this stuff. But yeah, you'll see this feature being live this week. So this is one of the first people you'll see talk about it, and we're excited to see people's feedback and how they're saving more time, how they're setting better goals, how they're seeing more success in real estate investing, kind of using these new features. So
There you go.
cool, awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.